Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 29 of the Grumpy Gaming Weekend podcast. It's been a little while. We've been away. We've been stuff.
But now we're back. We're back
We are.
now.
That is a true statement. We were away, and now we're back, and that's just how interesting these podcasts can get. But Elliott, how have you been? How was your Christmas and your New Year? What have you been up to?
I finally took the leap. For years, every New Year's, I was like, I'm going to avoid everyone. I'm not going out. I'm not spending time with people. And every year I bottle it last minute because I get like real bad FOMO and I'm like, oh no, I'll go to this house party or I'll do this or do that. This year I didn't. I had the best New Year's. Yeah. It was just like I sat at home, I drank wine, I chilled out in people's streams because I considered streaming and I was like, I might just chill. So I hung out with DJ and then I hung out with Platt. I celebrated New Year's so I went to Platt's at midnight. So I did like midnight in Darren's, went into Platt, said Happy New Year, and then we did all of like the ones as it went across America. So I stayed up till 8 a.m.
Nice. Good job. It sounds like a pretty decent New Year. I spent it at home just chilling out, really. Didn't really do much. Not been well, so it was fun times. I played a few games, played some Dead by Daylight. That was a shocker, I know. I know I play Dead by Daylight sometimes. Don't know if you knew that.
I was playing Stardew at midnight, so I started the year as I mean to continue.
I saw you playing Stardew, and I was very tempted to be like, "Hey, I want to come play Stardew," and then I decided I really didn't want to play Stardew on New Year's Eve, so I didn't. And again, that's just how interesting this podcast gets.
That's all of the things we were doing this thing, then we aren't.
That's it. I've got nothing interesting to say. Nothing happened. I'd love to be like, oh yes, and then there was this party, and there was this whole thing where we got lost, and it was a whole 3 hours worth of content we could talk about. But it just didn't happen. We're both old and boring. So
I'm enjoying being old and boring. I think I've decided this is me now.
Yeah, it's nice to actually be able to rest and not have to go out and do shit. But yeah, so this episode is a bit of a weird one. We're going to be talking about 2020 and what's coming out and what we're going to be doing and what you can expect from the channels. And hopefully it will be more interesting than this shambles of a podcast episode. I'm also just tying up this, and I don't know why. Honestly,
just
most professional podcast on the YouTubes. So yeah, we're going to talk about some of the games that are coming out, because I actually think that 2020 already is looking like it's going to be a really good year. 2019 was a weird one because I think there was a lot of real bad stuff in the industry, but there was also a lot of good stuff. And I think a lot of the good stuff sort of got a little bit buried under all of the negativity in 2019, mainly because there was a heck of a lot of negativity. But I think 2020, there's a lot of stuff that I'm really looking forward to, and I think it's going to be a big year. I think 2020 is definitely going to be a massive year for the gaming industry, and I'm super excited to do games and stuff.
To do 2020.
Yeah, I thought 2020, start of a new decade. We're in the 20s now. We have to dress more appropriately.
Gatsby style.
Yep, that's absolutely a law now. We have to do that. So,
and again,
a great start from both of us.
When I do the dance, all the bead bits go out. That's 20, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly what you should do on Twitch tomorrow.
Excellent.
Go. Brilliant. I would love to see that, honestly.
Next day delivery.
Shout out to Amazon Prime. Hashtag not sponsored. But yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of good games coming out. Should we just jump into our most exciting game? What game are you most excited for in 2020? I think if you had to pick one.
It's still a toss-up because there's two. There's two obvious ones.
Okay.
Which obviously is Cyberpunk.
Yep.
And Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yep.
They're like the behemoths coming right at the start of the year as well. They're like March.
They are, and we're going to get onto this topic. But there's also, for me, I'm in a really weird spot, because if you watched the last episode and you know what my game of the year of 2019 was, that was Resident Evil 2. Spoilers, go watch it. 2020, Resident Evil 3 is coming out, and I'm like, I love Resident Evil 2 so much, and it's looking like it's going to be using the same engine. Obviously it is. I hope it's going to be the same level of quality as the second remake. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So I'm super looking forward to that one too. I'm kind of I don't know. I kind of want to say I'm not. It's not the one that I'm looking forward to the most. It absolutely isn't. The one that I'm looking forward to most is Cyberpunk, without a shadow of a doubt. Followed closely by Final Fantasy VII, to be honest. But I also feel like Resident Evil 3 is definitely going to be a contender for games that I get super excited about when it comes out. I love horror. I love survival horror. Resident Evil is a really good franchise. So,
I mean, this is the weird thing with 2020 though, because like you're saying about that, but then like we haven't talked about Last of Us Part 2, which is
I take it back. I take it back.
Doom Eternal,
yeah,
which we played at EGX and is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Doom Eternal is pretty fun. The other thing with Doom Eternal, I would say, is that I still own the original new Doom, if that makes sense, and I haven't finished it. Yeah, I haven't finished it, so I'm not as excited about that. Yeah,
get it done.
So I'm not. I don't know. I'm not as bothered about Doom, but like I forgot about The Last of Us. If I'm being entirely honest, The Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time. But then again, so is The Witcher 3. So that's why I'm so excited for Cyberpunk, because The Witcher 3 was one of my favorite games of all time. So now I'm really excited for Cyberpunk. But then The Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm really excited for that. Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. And they're remaking that. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's a good year for gaming.
It's a very good year for gaming, honest. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be a good year for gaming. You never know. We might be saying in like October, do you remember when Cyberpunk came out and it was buggy and broken and had all the microtransactions? I'm sure it won't, by the way. I'm joking, obviously.
Yeah, I'm very sure it won't.
But yeah,
also, have you seen UK government / private group / everyone is looking at loot boxes again?
As they should be. As they should be. They absolutely should be. The problem with that is they need to actually look at what is a loot box, because FIFA packs, for example, I feel like they get away with it, but they're exactly the same. So it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, a loot box is a loot box. Doesn't matter what shape it has, you know? It's the same principle behind it.
I was watching a gaming news channel on YouTube the other day, and they were going so like they were.
Wait, are you saying you don't get all of your gaming news from my channel?
But I'm part of the news that's delivered on your channel. Okay. I got it here.
I'm joking.
But yeah, they were talking about like, the UK government are looking back into it because the way the election went the last time, they said they were going to look at it if they got elected in. And there's like these two big groups of people who were like really trying to push for it as well. And they were doing a bit of like it was a very like, oh look, the Brits are just looking at the loot boxes, and they were like, is it really that bad? Is it really that bad? And I was like, why are they sugarcoating it? Like, it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
there is no one apart from games companies who are like, yay, loot boxes. Like, no one.
Yeah,
no one is
well, that
and
gambling addicts, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, and we talked about this before, I feel like 2019 it feels like a tipping point. It feels like a point in time where everybody's just tired of the bullshit. Everyone's tired of aggressive monetization. They're tired of companies taking the piss. They're tired of these companies being like, we can do whatever we want and you idiots will keep buying it, right? And so I feel like there's been so much pushback in 2019 that there's one of two ways this can go. Either companies are going to continue to do it and face all of that pushback from both customers and from, you know, government bodies and so on, and are probably just going to crumble and die, or they're actually going to go, shit, maybe we need to actually like reevaluate our situation and maybe we need to do something else. And the best solution would be for these companies to go, do you remember when we used to make good games and then we used to sell them in massive quantities because everyone wanted to buy it because it was a really good product? Maybe we should do that. That worked well, didn't it? But unfortunately, if you look at how the video game industry has exploded in the last sort of 10 years, really, it exploded massively because of microtransactions. And it pains me to say it, it really does. But that is kind of what's brought a lot of the money in to the video game industry. So as much as we hate it, like, I can't see these companies being like, yeah, we'll just go back to selling games. They'll find a different way to scam us. They'll find some different form of manipulative microtransaction. It'll be surprise mechanics or whatever, you know, they'll think of something.
You just buy a game case from them and it's like, what game's gonna be inside?
Oh,
like,
God.
Turn the whole game into loot box.
Mystery games. It could be Cyberpunk 2077, or it could be, I was gonna say Doki Doki Literature Club, and I don't know why, because that's a great game, but it is also free to play, so that would be really annoying. I don't know, it could be, I can't think of any games. I work in the video game industry and I can't think of a single game. It could be
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2, there we go. Oh, God, I'd refund that shit straight away. Thank God for the Steam's 2-hour refund policy. Apparently, Battlefront 2, weird tangent. Apparently, Battlefront 2's, like, been worked on a lot since, like, it's continuously been worked on. And apparently, it's in a really good place right now. And I'm like...
I've heard really good things about it recently.
Yeah, but then I heard this about... Go on.
part of me is thinking like I want to do my 2020 and any game with microtransactions, I'm just not going to play it.
Yeah, I can honestly
I might just be like, no, I don't care if it's cosmetics, I don't care if it's whatever. If it's got it in it, I'm just not going to play it.
I don't know. I absolutely don't mind microtransactions. What I mind is when they're aggressive, and I mind when they affect gameplay, and I mind when it's unfair. Like, I really don't mind. Like, honestly, I have no problem with companies selling skins. Like, if you want to sell a skin for a character, I mean, obviously the best solution is to let me unlock the skin or let me pay for the skin to unlock it quicker. That's the fairest microtransaction, in my opinion. Like, let me... You know what I mean? But then the problem with that is, and again, I say this is the fairest one, what happens is the companies go, well, what we're going to do is we're going to make it take 1,000 hours to unlock, or you could just pay for it. But like, yeah, let me unlock the stuff in game, or let me pay for it, or whatever. Like, just have the transactions be fair. Don't let me sit there. Like, I don't ever want to spend money on a game and then feel bad for it. That's not how shit works, right? I was going to use like a restaurant analogy and say like, I don't want to spend money on food and then go, oh, I feel bad for that. But that's me every time I order KFC. So, and I still do it. I still order that goddamn chicken.
Mate, I love a bit of KFC.
I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Apart from vegans and stuff, but...
Well, truth. KFC, I think it now has vegan KFC.
Everything's doing vegan stuff now. There's like a
vegan
surge
steak bake in Greg's now.
Well, it's just been what I read a shitty news article this morning. It's just been like recognized as like a philosophical movement or something in the UK, veganism. So like,
sure.
I don't know. I mean, whatever. If you don't want to eat animal products, don't eat animal products. It's your choice, right? I mean, I love a bit of animal, so I'm gonna continue to eat it. But if you don't, that's cool. I'm honestly fine by it. Like whatever you want to do.
Yeah, sorry. I suppose you're right.
Video
like,
games.
Paying for shit that you know what it's going to be, I'm like fine. But like, yeah, maybe not 2020. No games with microtransactions, but like nothing with loot boxes. No loot boxes. No gambling.
Which I honestly I can't see any new games putting loot boxes in. You would be an absolute idiot of a company to do that. Mind you, some of these big AAA companies are absolute idiots. So, but you'd be an absolute idiot to put loot boxes in your game in 2020. That would be a crazy move.
Do we trust Ubi with Watch Dogs? Like, do you reckon they'll put like, because you can play as anyone in the game.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they'll be like, oh, there's a super rare person, but they're really good, and like, if
honestly,
you pay us, you get them quicker.
I feel like Ubisoft most of the time aren't the worst company. Like, they're not great by any stretch, but they're not the worst. They're not as bad as EA. They're not as bad as Blizzard. They're not as bad as Bethesda. Like, they're one of the less shit AAAs. And so I don't know. I can't see Ubi doing it. Or maybe they could just maybe they could do what Blizzard, because Blizzard used to be like the best AAA company, even though it was like, I guess AA, if that's a thing. Like, I don't know, like until Activision and Blizzard merged, Blizzard were like the darling company, and then they turned. So you never know. Maybe Ubisoft could be like, it's our turn. EA had their reign, Blizzard have had their reign. We want our reign.
Because they really do it at the moment with like, I picked up Assassin's Creed Origins, the one in Egypt. Was it Origins? Yeah, Odyssey was Greek. So I picked up Origins, and like, the amount of time you're just doing something and then it's like, oh, you press this button to the store, and you're like, no, not to the store, go away.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that it was an entirely single player experience with an in-game store, in-game currency, and I was just like, no, stop this.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, I know a couple of people that work for Ubisoft, and it's like, it's really weird as soon as you start to meet people working for the company, because you start to realize that like the people making these decisions are like literally at 1% of that company. Like, and it's really difficult when you criticize these companies, because it's like, I'm sure there are people still working at Blizzard that just absolutely adore video games and want their games to be the best ever, but they're being forced to do these things by the basically the shareholders and the executives of these companies who just want to make a profit. And half of these shareholders don't even care about video games. They don't play them, they don't watch them, they don't care. And it's a real sticking point. I was watching a YouTube video about the decline of the gaming industry, and how there's a lot of people that just don't play games anymore, or just don't care about them like they used to. And it was a lot of speculation, it was a lot of opinions, but like I really agreed with it. Like, I'm in this sort of place where I used to get so excited about game releases, like Halo game releases. I used to like, Oh god, I would count down the days. I'm not even kidding. I would literally be like, a week to go, 6 days to go, 5 days to go. Cannot wait for the Halo 2 or whatever. And now when there's a new Halo game coming out, I'm like, it's probably going to be shit though, isn't it? I'm like, the last two are crap, so this one's probably going to be shit too. And I'm just...
did you have a look at the Master Chief Collection? Because that came out recently.
I purchased the Master Chief Collection, yeah. Had some serious problems with it. Yeah. I had some serious problems with it. The input lag was... It was like being on ice skates. I couldn't play it. So...
Yeah, that's not ideal.
But it was weird because the campaign worked fine. It was just multiplayer where it was like being on ice skates.
Do you reckon we're looking at a second collapse then? A second collapse of gaming after the first one, because the first one was all caused by the fact that it got so cheap to manufacture video games that people were just spamming crap out. Yeah. Like, it was just people were just making shitty games. And are we heading for a second decline where people are monetizing games so aggressively that the monetization pushes the market out again?
I think it's going to go one of two ways. I think either when the loot boxes is resolved and we go, right, no more loot boxes anymore, either the companies are going to double down on aggressive microtransactions and be like, right, well, we're losing money on loot boxes now, so we have to put something else in, and it's gonna screw the industry, or the companies are going to go, right, we need to dial it down and we need to try and put more focus into our products. Because if anything's going to kill the industry, it is Fallout 76s, it is Anthems, it is all of these games that are, like, let's be fair, are costing a fortune to develop because the technical aspects behind it, they cost a lot. It's like movies, right? Like, movies cost millions to make. Big budget movies cost millions to make, and so do video games. But when that's happening and then they don't make any money back because the game's shit and too aggressive with its monetization, and then they shut the studio down and all those people are now jobless, that happens enough, and then... Like, it's this like sort of cyclical thing where that will then mean that those people who are developing games now don't have enough money to buy games, and so there's less games on the market. And it's like I don't know, it's exactly like retail. It's the same problem. Every time like a retail store shuts, then there's less people spending money in retail. There's less people employed by retail, so now they're also spending less money. It's this vicious cycle, and I think it's going to be the same. I don't think the gaming industry is going to collapse. I think it's going to take a massive hit, and I think the ones that's going to hit the most are the AAAs. And I think, and this is just an opinion, I think that this is where the sort of, not the indies, but the AA or the upper tier indies, if you will, whatever.
AA and single A.
Your companies sort of like Cyberpunk, who it could be argued now that Cyberpunk is AAA, but those companies that are sort of in the middle, where they've got the talent of the big AAAs, but they haven't quite got the big corporate structure, I think they're going to fill that void, and I think they're going to start to succeed. I honestly do.
I mean, I was going to say, because with the Game Awards, I think someone mentioned during the Game Awards, one of the hosts, I think, said, like, the whole category for indies cost less to develop than like one of the AAA titles.
Yeah, it's true.
So like you can make great games.
Yeah, you can.
But there'll be people that miss out on because there's obviously people out there who are just like, no, I want like my big name, like I want my FIFAs and my Call of Duties and I want my big name games with the great graphics and the huge worlds and all that. Like, I don't want to go and play Stardew Valley or Untitled Goose Game or Who's Your Daddy. Like,
of course. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between AAA and indie. Like, I mean, indie games can be amazing, and sometimes we have indie games that come out and just blow everybody away. Everybody loves them. They're amazing, and that's great. But even those games generally aren't the same quality as an indie game, and that's just budgetary concerns. When you've got a team of 5 people working on a game, and you've got a team of 150 people working on a game, then they're going to be in different leagues. I mean, not always. I mean, look at Fallout 76, but you know, like, they're going to be in different leagues, and so I feel like we sort of forgive AAAs and we go, you know what, we'll spend $60 on a AAA game because we expect a level of quality. We expect it to look fantastic graphically. We expect it to have lots of content in it. We expect it to work well. And this is the problem at the moment, is those things aren't being met. Sure, the graphics are fantastic, but the quality's not there and the content's not there. The content is now being gated off with extra monetization, and the quality just, quite frankly, just isn't there a lot of the time. These games are buggy and broken and don't work. So it's kind of like they're shooting themselves in the foot, because if they're not providing that then why would I play Fallout 76 over any amazing indie game? Like, give me a reason to. When the indie game costs a third of the price and is better, like, why would I play? But you're right, though. There's always going to be people that want FIFA and Fortnite and all of these, you know, massive games. There's never not going to be that demand there, I don't think.
It's a weird thing. You can't please everyone all the time, and I think that's one of the big things that happened in 2019, I think, for gaming that really turned it around. Was there were games companies trying to please everyone with their game. They were like, okay, if we're going to have more people play it, we need like a bit of this.
Well, they wanted Fortnite level of success. They wanted everybody to play it.
I've played Fortnite twice, and I honestly, I can't do it. I think I'm just old. I think it's just being old, because obviously, like, competitive esports and like battle royale stuff, like, react time's a lot of it. But like, I found with Fortnite, there's just so much going on all the time. Like, bullets start coming in. You watch some of these streamers, and they're just like, suddenly they're just spinning around, building shit and all this kind of stuff, and you're just like, and I'm sat there like, okay, then I make out of stone, and then do I need a window? And then by that point, I've been like shot in the face.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I don't like Fortnite. I love everything about Fortnite except the combat and like the whole building shit. I don't like it. I know that's such a,
because it was originally like a wave defense.
Well, no, it was gonna be a wave defense co-op game, but it didn't really release like that. It released as the battle royale, and then they were still developing the wave defense, and then I think they scrapped it in the end. I think I
played it pre Fortnite when it was a wave defense game, and it was pretty good. Like, you get a few friends in, you build a big tower, put some traps in.
Yeah, because there were zombies in it. That was the whole point. Wow, did I just have beard in my did I have tea in my beard?
I think
I did. Can we get like an action replay?
I got so much mustard just everywhere. It was the worst.
Yeah, that's gross. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, I played it back then, and like, I enjoyed it, but I feel like the battle royale just isn't really my thing. I picked up, so last month on the PS Plus games, Titanfall 2 was on there. I've been playing the multiplayer like a crazy person, and it's like a 5-year-old game or something. The multiplayer is so good.
Titanfall 2 was sabotaged, in my honest opinion, by... So what happened with Titanfall 2? Because I love Titanfall 1, and I really was excited for Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 came out, if I recall correctly, it came out in between two really big AAA releases, and I think it was Battlefield and COD, I think, which at the time was still the two dominant shooters, because this was back when shooters were still the big thing. Well, I guess you could say Fortnite's still a shooter, whatever, but like when traditional shooters were still a big thing before like battle royales, right? And it got released like right in between two massive major releases, and of course that affected the sales of the game, because people that may have been like Call of Duty hardcore fans, right, or Battlefield hardcore fans that may have played it if it had come out 6 months after Call of Duty, they weren't interested because their main game had just come out or was just coming out. So it was like it was there's a lot of tinfoil hat theories about
Oh yeah, it came out the week after Battlefield 1.
Yeah, and then there was another, I think it was another Call of Duty coming out not long after that. So there's a lot of theories about that basically, I believe, was it Respawn who made that? I believe they just got acquired by somebody. Yes. And the theory is that they wanted to take the competition out of the market, so they did it on purpose. And it wouldn't surprise me. It honestly wouldn't surprise me, like a big AAA company being like, yeah, let's just make sure that game doesn't do well so our game does better. Like, it's shitty, but it's
why would you do it with a company that you acquire? Because surely their success is now your success.
Well, yeah,
but weird to me.
Again, it's like assassinating one of your rivals, isn't it? You can either, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you own your rival, no one can stop you.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
You know what I mean? But again, I don't know if that's true. It was a theory that I heard a while back, but it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, 2019, interesting year. I'm kind of glad it's over, especially the end of 2019 was not a good year for me. So I'm glad that that's all done. 2020, do you have any big specific plans for this year, or are you just going to continue to do what you've been doing? What's the goals?
I'm having a bit of an upheaval because I'm starting like a full-time grown-up job. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be working like a Monday to Friday 9 to 5, and then still trying to stream around that. So
yeah, it's not easy, dude.
That's the thing. But yeah, I think because obviously, like, you've been working retail recently, and like obviously retail, your hours are everywhere and they switch you around and stuff like that. At least with this, I'm working like a core shift pattern, so
Yeah.
I should be able to still make it work around it.
Yeah, because you'll know when you have free time.
Like, I'm expecting to take a hit at the start because my schedule's going to go from like I stream almost exclusively in the daytime at the moment, and it's going to have to be evenings.
Yeah. Anytime you change anything with Twitch, like, you take a hit. It doesn't matter what you do. Like, you can go from streaming a bad game to a better game, you'll still take a hit because there are people that just get used to your content and they don't like change. And we said this before, this is not like we're not complaining, it's just a fact of life. If you change game or change schedule, there are going to be people that just like, well, I can't watch now, so I don't want to watch now. And that's absolutely fine. Like, watch what you want to watch, like, if it's your time, you should be watching who you want to watch, like.
I had a really weird one today where so obviously since we've had the chat currency release, I got into like the last wave of the beta for that. Yeah. And I've been like tweaking a load of stuff. And one of my chat currency redeems is ASMR Wikipedia reads, because it's a long-standing joke in my community of, at one point everyone was like, stop playing games and just literally just read articles. Because I would bring up like news articles and stuff and read them. And people would be like, sorry, it's just nice and calming.
Where's the joke in that? You're going to become an ASMR streamer. It's fine. Just let it happen.
That's the joke. No, never. So I put it in as a chat redeem. It is ridiculous expensive. You have to be in the stream for so long.
Yeah. And I've nearly got 20k, by the way. I've nearly got the enough currency for it.
I think I've had, since I put it in, which must have been like a month ago, I think I've only had like 4 or 3.
Yeah.
So like it takes a while to build them up, and obviously I have some other redeems and stuff like emotes and things like that.
So if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, Twitch recently added a feature which a lot of other sort of chatbots and things did, where essentially now if you're watching a streamer, you will acquire currency every sort of minute or whatever. And there's certain things you can do to get more of it. And then you can spend that currency to do certain things in chat. Like there is a highlight my message. You can unlock an emote for like a week or whatever if you haven't got the money to sub. You can actually set your own as well. If you're a streamer, you can set your own rewards like you have. But yeah, it's a nice little feature. I mean, it's, it's sort of borrowed from a lot of other stuff, but it's nice to have it directly in Twitch.
But yeah, I was in the middle of playing Dark Souls, got an ASMR redeem, and someone turned up in the chat and they were just like, wait, you're in Dark Souls category. Like, what's going on? And like, they were just kind of like questioning it in the thing. So I'm obviously like, I'm reading through the Wikipedia article for Stardew Valley of all things. Sat in the DS3 category and stuff like that. Got out the other end of it and was just like, if you're still here, yeah, kind of an odd thing. It's just a chat currency redeem we have. And they were just like, oh, I thought I'd like stick around because like it was kind of confusing as to what was going on. But like now you're playing Dark Souls, definitely here. And it's like, that is such a rarity of a Twitch viewer, because they say you have like 45 seconds to like grab someone.
Yeah.
And like, if someone
less
clicks
than
on your
that,
stream,
to be honest.
They're probably going to sit around for like less than a minute. It's definitely less than a minute.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, do I want to spend my time watching this person?
Yeah.
And like, having someone who went, oh, this is a really weird thing going on, and then go like, okay, sure, we'll stick it out, is such a rarity.
I mean, to get somebody's attention, like, that's one of the big things for Twitch. When I'm browsing around the categories and I'm looking for people to watch, like, it's really hard. But you're right. Like, if you jump into a stream and they're just sat there like this, like, you're not going to stick around. And this is why we say when you are live, you are streaming, you should be chatting all the time, because if you're not chatting, you're potentially losing viewers. Now, I know one thing that I do notice about my Twitch analytics whenever I stream is I get tons of views, but not many people stick around. So I don't know what it is. But like, if you look at my channel views, right, I've got so many. And then it's like when you see like people they don't stay. I don't know what it is. Although maybe it's people like clicking in and out as well. Maybe that has a factor. But it's just something that it makes me giggle every time. Although I
get the same thing, because obviously like your Twitch analytics are like, oh, this is how many unique views you had, and like my unique views, which is like the times that people click on my face, to like my average viewership or people that like watched for how long and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's always a massive discrepancy.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, you're just like, well, what did I do? But it's just the nature of Twitch. A lot of people will browse around for a little while till they find someone to watch. It is what it is. Like, but yeah, so 2020, I want to talk about the games again. We said we were going to talk about the games that are coming out. Yes. I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII. And the reason I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII, excuse me, I did a little burp there. The reason I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII is because this kind of ties into Resident Evil 2, where I was not really convinced with Resident Evil 2 and I wasn't convinced with Final Fantasy 7, and both games have managed to like persuade me. Like Resident Evil 2, I was like, whoa, like Resident Evil 6 was god awful, and horror games for the last few years have not necessarily been like given as much love as other genres, and I was like, oh, they're just gonna actionify it. Because if you don't know, the original Resident Evil 2 was a top-down tank control game, and it was very much survival horror, kind of janky, rough around the edges in parts, but like it was a cult classic. And when I saw that Resident Evil 2 remake was going to be like fully 3D, like third person shooter essentially, I was like, oh god damn it. But it turned out to be an amazing game. I loved every second of it. I haven't finished it yet. I've got to do Leon's B. I've done Claire's A. I've not done Leon's B, but I loved every second of it. And so Final Fantasy 7 was the same thing. When I looked at it, I was like, well, why are they changing it? Like Final Fantasy 7 was such a great game. Why are they tinkering? Just leave it as it is, but improve the graphics. And we saw it at EGX anyway. We went and played the demo of it at EGX, and I don't know, I was sold. The demo was fantastic. There wasn't much there. Like there wasn't much there at all. It was just the Scorpion boss, the first boss from the game. It's like a mini boss, if you will. But I don't know. It made sense. It was so fun, and it was so big and grand and open, and I really, really enjoyed it. What did you think of the demo when we played it?
I think the same thing. Like, it wasn't a lot of demo. Like, part of me when going in and someone in the queue was saying like, oh, it's just like you do the Scorpion boss. Like, you run through the Maker Reactor, you do the Scorpion boss. And part of me was a bit like, oh, like, it's just, I kind of wish there was more to it.
Yeah.
And then when I played it, I had such a good time that even just that amount, like I ran out of time before beating the boss. So like it was like on a 15-minute timer or something. And like, I was like, oh, I've been playing for 15 minutes. So like, I felt like I've been playing it for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it was quite a lot of game in quite a small demo. And I think they did a really good job of showing off a lot of the main functions without making it so you've done everything.
Yeah.
And no, I was like really impressed with it. I'm very interested to see what I might do at some point is go through all the podcasts that we spoke about Final Fantasy and literally just grab all the bits.
Like,
because at
see our
first
opinion
we were
over
just
time.
like,
yeah.
oh, they've announced the Final Fantasy 7 remake, and we're both like, do we need a remake for it? I still play the old one. What? I was very much in the camp at first of like, just re-release the game as it was, new graphics.
Yeah, that's what I said as well.
Slowly, as we saw more, we were both kind of like a little bit excited, and then it's EGX, and we were just, yes, we're going to get this game. We're definitely going to play the game.
100%. Well, it's interesting. I feel like these two examples of games, Resident Evil and Final Fantasy 7, it makes sense in my head now. Like, they were released so long ago when we didn't have the technology that we have now. We didn't have amazingly beautiful graphics. We didn't have these massive open worlds. We were talking about megabytes worth of data, essentially. We were talking about a disc, right? Or several discs in Final Fantasy 7. And now we have so much more. These people that are creating these games have so much more to work with. Like, it just makes sense. It's like, take the story of the game that we know and love and make it into today's modern stuff. It's just like, think about like it's like an adaptation almost. It's like taking Game of Thrones or The Witcher and turning a book into a TV show. Like, could you not do the same thing with an old video game and turn it into a new video game? Like, do you know what I mean? That's how it feels like to me now. It feels like an adaptation more than a remake, and I really like that. I've always been kind of on the side of like, I'm not one of these people that gets really angry about remasters, because a lot of people get really angry about remasters and remakes. They're like, no, we need more new IPs. But I'm like, I will take Resident Evil 2 and Final Fantasy 7 any day over like Anthem. Like, I'm not bothered about new IPs. I would love good new IPs, but I only want good new IPs. I don't want just new IPs that are, you know.
I mean, if you make a good game, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, sure.
That's basically where I'm at with it. Like, if you want to remake a game, if you want to remaster a game, I mean, I have the Final Fantasy 8 remaster on the Switch. I have the Final Fantasy 9. Like, it's a re-release, not really a remake, isn't it? Like, it's slightly improved graphics.
I would say it you could argue it is a remaster, because it's the same game but remastered with better, but it's the same game. Like, a remake is
8 came out as like the Final Fantasy 8 remaster, whereas 9 came out as like it's a Switch port.
Yeah.
But like, I still have these games. Like, I'm fine with a remaster of a good game. Final Fantasy 8 is a fantastic game. Final Fantasy 9 is a brilliant game. And like, you really enjoyed Resi 2. Like, I have no problem with making remasters games. If we got to a point where, like, so at the moment, like, Hollywood feels like almost everything is a sequel, a prequel, or a remake. Like, almost everything coming out at the moment. If gaming got to that position, I'd be a bit like, I feel like we would be missing out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my year would not have been the same in gaming if it wasn't for Sekiro, which was a new IP.
Yeah.
Which, it was from a company that make games that are, like, Sekiro was a Souls-like.
Yeah.
And it's from the company that arguably makes the best Souls-likes games. So, like, but without them going to new IP, if they'd just been like, oh, we're going to make Bloodborne 2 or Dark Souls 4, which people were asking for when Sekiro was, like, when they were hiring and stuff, people were just like, Bloodborne 2, it's going to be Bloodborne 2. And then Sekiro came out, and it was a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
So, like, if you make a good game, I will play it.
I'm 100%, honestly, I'm 100% behind you on that one. It's like, if you have a reason to make a remake, do it. If you have a reason to make a new IP, do it. And if your reason is we want to make a platform to monetize it, then no, get out. Like, this is why Anthem failed. This is why, isn't it? But look at it, Star Wars Battlefront 2 also failed, and that was on a fairly successful. Star Wars Battlefront 1 was fairly successful. It wasn't like a smash hit success. There was a lot of people had a lot of problems with it, but it was all right. And so it really is like, the gaming industry just needs to learn that that's what they need to do, is they need to make good games. And it doesn't matter what that game is, remake, remaster, new IP, whatever. If the game is good, people will buy it. And if the game is good 3 months after launch, people will still continue to buy it. I mean, look at The Witcher 3, right? The Witcher goddamn 3 just had such a huge resurgence in players that I believe at one point,
ever concurrent players on Steam. I think it was 95,000 players at
like
once.
4 or 5 years.
Single player game.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years after launch. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's
like,
just
like, here's the thing. I'm sure CD Projekt Red got a bunch of new sales because of the TV show, and I know that's such like a unique experience where you have a game about that was adapted from a book, and now a TV show, a big massive Netflix show, is adapted from the same book. I know that's not going to happen for every game ever, right? But like, I'm sure the same thing could have maybe happened with, say, Star Wars Battlefront 2. We've just had a new Star Wars film out. If that game was good, maybe people would have been like, oh, I haven't played Star Wars Battlefront 2 yet. I guess they probably would have gone to Star Wars not Force Unleashed. God, I'm living in the past. What's the new one just come out? You played it. What's it called?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, there we go. I'm sure a lot of people that went and watched the new Star Wars were like, hey, I've not checked out that Fallen Order yet. But just, this is what I'm saying. Like, it just goes to prove that, like, for all intents and purposes, The Witcher 3 sales were done. Like, everyone had bought it that wanted to buy it, and now all of a sudden people are buying it again. And that's what happens when you have a well-developed game. That's what happens, because everybody that was like, this is what happened with The Witcher. Everybody was like, oh my god, I just watched The Witcher show, that was really cool. And then everyone was like, hey, have you played the game? And I bet you there are people out there being like, wait, there's a game? And then they were like, yeah, go buy it. And it's also on sale right now on Steam, go buy it. So then people went and bought it for the first time in 2019, and they're enjoying it. I mean, look at the goddamn people watching it on Twitch. There's so many viewers at the moment of The Witcher 3.
I mean, there's so many streamers. All of them have the exact same title.
Oh god, every single stream, just toss a coin to your Witcher.
Is a banger though.
It is. It is. I'm surprised not many more people made the joke about the whole. There's one bit in the show. No spoilers for the show. There's one bit in the show though where Yen grabs Yaskia and she's like, and he changes the lyrics in that. Have you watched the show?
I have.
Yeah, go rewatch it. There's a bit where she grabs him and she's like,
I think I missed a touch of that.
You definitely did. I'm surprised more people made that joke.
I binged it in one evening.
That's probably why you don't remember it then.
Yeah, probably. I did it by accident. Me and my brother sat watching it, and like we were a bit hungover, and like we were like, oh, and I just turned around. I was like, do you want to watch this new Witcher program? Because like, I was still a bit, is it going to be good? Isn't it? Like, I'd heard that it was interesting at least, but like I've read some of the books. And I know that it goes over some of the same stuff that the books is in. So, like, I was a bit like, if you've played the game and then you see the TV show, you might be like, oh, well, this is new content for me. So, but then I felt like for me, it might be a bit like when the Harry Potter movies came out and there was all these people that read the books that were like, well, they took out this part that I really liked and they changed this character. And I was a bit like, oh, am I going to get that with it? And it was so incredible. We watched all the episodes but one, didn't know that we were on the last one, and we were like, oh, it's like 3 a.m. We should probably go to bed. And I exited out, and you know when you exit out, it's like it shows the episode guide. It was like, oh, you're on the last episode, and we both looked at each other like,
might as well just finish it.
But yeah, it was incredible. I had someone on my Twitch chat the other day who was like, oh yeah, everyone's streaming it now, and the show was really good. And I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed it because I'd read the books and I think it was a really good adaptation. And they went, there's books, and I was like, where have you been?
So there's a lot of people think that the TV show is based on the game, and so there's a lot of people being like, I've seen it all over Twitter. Everyone's like, hey, have you seen they've made like a TV show version of the game? And it's like, no. Like the game was based on a book. The show was based on the same books. There are obviously some crossovers, but like, and we spoke about this. We were speaking about this the other day that Henry Cavill, who plays Geralt, he's a massive gamer and he's played The Witcher 3, so you can kind of tell.
I don't think he played them before he was going for the role, but before he would accept the role, I think he played all 3 games.
Yeah.
Which, if you've played, have you played the first 2?
I've played the second one, but I didn't get very far into it.
The second one's quite rough. The first one is janky.
Yeah, it's an old game,
I've
though.
played
Like,
all
old.
3. It is old. Like, it's not janky like it's bad, but it's janky like it hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
I've played all 3. I didn't finish the first one. I finished the second one, but I did it on easy because I was like, the story's really good, but I was like, the combat is rough. Like, people complain about Witcher 3 combat because you have to be prepared and stuff. The Witcher 2 combat is just rough.
It is. I mean, like, even the first fight in The Witcher 2 is really difficult. Even on, like, normal mode, it's really difficult. Just because it's, like, the game doesn't help you. So I played all the way through The Witcher 3 and the DLC on the hardest difficulty on Deathmatch. And I found that, like, that difficulty was the perfect level of challenge versus reward for me. Like, it was just punishing enough and it was just challenging enough. And Witcher 2, I'm like, normal modes, it's hard. It's tough. I don't like it. But yeah, no, I definitely want to go back and play the first Witcher. I'm probably going to do it in 2020. I'm probably going to do Witcher 1 and 2 in 2020, and then The Witcher Season 2 will come out in 2021, and then potentially a new Witcher game. There was some news.
Well, it's very much so. The only news that's known is CD Projekt Red have signed a deal with I can never
say it. It's like
Andrei Sapkowski.
Yeah, something like that.
Sorry,
yeah, so we're not racist. We just can't pronounce it.
I went to Poland and trying to read anything was a nightmare.
Sorry, I just got like a notification from YouTube and it was Dino Crisis remake, but it was a fan remake.
Boo,
that would have been cutting edge news. That would have been like, whoa, let's get it out there. Like, no. Sorry, continue.
We are receiving word right now.
What's that? Dino Crisis remake? No. Sorry, what were you saying?
But yeah, so like, they don't know that it's going to be Geralt. They don't know if it's going to be like a Witcher game. It might just be in the universe.
So what happened was...
They don't even know if it's going to be like an action game. It might be like a real-time strategy or a card game or something.
It better not be. So CD Projekt Red said that The Witcher 3 was the end of Geralt's story, right? Yes. And we know that... So if you don't know the story, what happened was the author of The Witcher, who's a Polish author, he signed a deal with CD Projekt Red years and years and years ago about the Witcher games. And they gave him a choice. CD Projekt Red gave him a choice and said, do you want to receive royalties, like a percentage of the sales, essentially? Or would you like one lump sum, like a fairly big lump sum? And he said, I'll take the lump sum. And I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but he took the lump sum because he just didn't believe that the games were going to be a huge smash hit success. He just didn't believe in video games. He said that video games can't tell a good story like a book can, essentially. Now, bearing in mind this was many, many years ago, way before The Witcher 3, maybe he had a bit of a point because The Witcher 1 and 2 were cult classics, but they weren't smash hit successes. And then out of nowhere, The Witcher 3 was a huge success. I don't even think CD Projekt Red anticipated that The Witcher 3 was going to be this big of a success. So basically, the author went, do you know what? I feel like as the creator of this universe, maybe I made a mistake and I deserve more money. So CD Projekt Red and him went through a little bit of a legal proceeding, and CD Projekt Red said, we want to try and do this amicably because I think this is a really good partnership. He's made a really good world. We've adapted it to a video game. Like, I'm sure we can come to a resolution. And that's exactly what happened. They came to a resolution, and he's now going to get royalties from the game. So it's a win-win scenario. But after that resolution, they did sign a new deal. And the new deal is for a Witcher game. And you're right, we don't know what that entails. But let's be honest, with how wildly successful I did, yeah? Did you see what I did there? Did you see what I did there? With how wildly successful The Witcher 3 was, it would kind of be silly not to. You know, like, and you could absolutely go for new characters, new story, whatever, like, that'd be fine. But it would kind of be silly not to do another Witcher game. Like, obviously, we've got Cyberpunk coming out soon, but that's completely separate. That's like a different universe. That's Cyberpunk setting, not, you know, medieval fantasy. I think there's a lot more stories I could tell in The Witcher. There's a lot of sort of creatures and monsters that we haven't encountered yet. There's a lot that they could do with it. And so it would be kind of, I don't know.
I mean, there's so much stuff of, like, you could do something from, like, kind of, because obviously there's, like, a lot of witches and wizards and stuff like that. You could do something from that angle. It could be like a monster hunting game. It could be so many things.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Part of me thinks the biggest likelihood is that it's going to be a different genre. I would say
they've already done other genre games though. They've done the Gwent game. They've done a strategy game. Like I just don't know. Like I feel like when they've signed a new deal, that should be for something more. That should be for a proper RPG game.
Yeah, I mean they've said that so if it is another Witcher game, it's not going to be Witcher 4. Like it's not going to be in that universe. It's in the universe, but like
they could change their minds. They said that Witcher 3 was going to be the end of Geralt's story, but like a lot of people have been saying, well, why not do Ciri's story? You know, like why not do somebody else's story? So you never know. Maybe again, the success of the TV show, the massive success of The Witcher 3, maybe they might change their mind one day, because we don't know what they're going to be doing after Cyberpunk. I mean, obviously Cyberpunk's coming out this year, so it's pretty much going to be done at this point. It's going to be polishing up now. They're doing so. We know that companies like this are always they pretty much know what game they're doing next. They probably have already started development on the next game. So well, no, it's all speculation, but. Yeah, I trust CD Projekt Red, and I don't see any signs of Cyberpunk disappointing me. So,
I'm very much. Can we just take a quick minute to be excited for Cyberpunk?
Sure, go ahead.
What playstyle are you going to go for?
Okay, so I'm just like really tempted to go for like a really sexy female like melee build, honestly, with the whips, and be like, I'm gonna whip everyone.
Oh, the Netrunner whips.
Yeah, I just don't know. I feel like I want to be a badass, sexy woman who just goes around and batters everybody. Really,
almost I don't know. Every game I've played recently. So like when I played Outer Worlds, I played a pacifist run because I played as Bob Ross. And like I've played so many games as being like kind of a bit sneaky and a bit this, because I always used to play games as just like, I'm going to be the biggest, tankiest dude that I could be, and I'm just going to charge at shit.
Yeah.
I might bring back big, tanky, blindside characters for Cyberpunk. I might just be one of those huge, like, jack dudes.
Yeah.
And just run around just, like, bapping people's head in and just busting doors open and so. Because, like, I feel like Cyberpunk, the universe lends itself so neatly to being, like, very hacky and being, like...
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah. Fam, I'm going to be in the future and I'm just going to be headbutting stuff. It's going to be great.
The gameplay that we saw at EGX, where the person was playing the game in front of us, he played two different ways. He played one very stealthy, very hacky character, and then he played one that just tore shit up. And honestly, they both seemed fun. They both played very differently, and I would be interested in playing both of those play styles. The problem is with a lot of these kind of games where it's like, if you have the option to go sneaky, I tend to go sneaky, then get bored of sneaky, and then go smashy. And I don't know why I've suddenly regressed into talking to 2-year-olds, but it's just what happens. I get bored of the sneak. Whenever I play Skyrim, I'm like, I'm going to be a stealth archer, and then I kill 2 people, and I'm like, nah, sort of chill.
I do it backwards. I start as like, I'll go in like heavy armor and a big 2-handed weapon, and then at the end of the heavy armor thing, it's like, oh, heavy armor doesn't make sound, and then I'm like, oh, so I could sneak, and then I start sneaking about, and then I'm like, but you can sneak from a distance. Like an arrow is just a knife on a stick that you shoot at things, and then it's just like, boom, you're a stealth archer in heavy armor, and I'm like, what is happening?
Why not?
But it happens to me every time. I always end up being a stealth archer. Doesn't matter how I start. I can start with magic, and I'll be like, but what if I use my magic to move quieter and then stab things? And then what if I stab things from a distance with these arrows? And I was like, damn it, it's happened again.
I could never do Skyrim as stealth archer. There was I saw like a meme the other day where it's like everybody who plays Skyrim for a second time plays stealth archer, and I'm just like, I could never do it. Like, I just needed full plate, a sword and a shield. I need to be able to backhand a dragon, and if I can't backhand a dragon, then why am I playing Skyrim? Like, what's the point?
The one I really hated was Far Cry 3, because that I played super sneaky, and I leveled like real hard into the sneaking stuff. And then spoilers for Far Cry 3, 10-year-old game. The end bit, you go into a fortress and everyone's like, hey, there's that guy that's been sneaking around all game, and everyone exactly knows where you are. And it is the worst, because I have a silenced sniper rifle and a bow and arrow, and I'm in a fortress of 300 dudes that know exactly where I am with no way of sneaking again. It was something.
Did you win though?
I mean, I got there eventually. And I think in the end, I just did what I could now call the Dark Souls strat. We just sprint past everything. You just ignore anything that's not a boss. You just run.
Yeah. That works in a lot of games, really. So, Cyberpunk, I think, apart from The Last of Us 2, which I just adore The Last of Us, I think Cyberpunk is the game I'm looking forward to the most, purely because it's something fresh and new. And I know I just made I literally just did a whole thing where I'm like, I don't care if it's a new IP or if it's like a remaster. But I do think I'm looking forward to something fresh. I really want to know more about the world and the story and the lore. I want to know who Johnny Silverhands is. I want to know all of those things. So I'm really, really intrigued for that.
I feel like it's so much easier to be excited about like new IP, because like Final Fantasy VII, I'm really excited to play it, especially after the taste that we've had. But like, effectively, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to be surprised by the story.
Like, oh no, Aerith died. Oh, spoilers.
And that's not going to be like episode 6 of the game.
I was literally just going to say though, I said this the other day about The Witcher, because everyone was like, oh, The Witcher's so old now, you got to expect spoilers. And I was like, yeah, but we're going to get a load of people coming to the game for the first time because of the show. That's going to be the same with Final Fantasy VII. There's going to be a load of people coming to the game for the first time who never got to play the original. And I just spoiled a major story plot point there.
I would kind of love to see, and I don't know if I would love to see or not. Imagine they made it so you could save Aerith.
Oh my god!
Because in the original game, there used to be, because this was pre-internet, the original game. Like, I was a kid when this came out, and it was you hear rumors at school and stuff. And like one of my mates who played a lot of Final Fantasy as well was like, oh, I was reading a magazine that my friend's cousin lent to me, and like it says in it that if you make Tifa like you, but you make Aerith love you, because there's a romance mechanic in the game.
Yeah,
like you have a romance value from it. Yeah, it doesn't mention it at all apart from the Golden Saucer date. And someone was like, if you can get Tifa to a point where she doesn't hate you, but she still likes you, and you have Aerith where you are maximum hearts with Aerith, Tifa knocks Aerith out of the way and she takes the sword instead of Aerith. And it was but there was always these rumors in video games when I was a kid, and I kind of miss that now. Yeah. Because you can't have it now, because then you Google it and it's like, oh yeah, someone data mined into the files, and actually that's bollocks, and you're just there's no mystery left.
It's true. I don't know if I've told the story before, but when GTA San Andreas came out, me and my group of friends at school, we were talking about apparently you could find this you could find the Yeti in the mountains, and we searched and we searched and we searched
I remember that rumor.
Yeti. And we could not find the Yeti. It got to the point where me and a mate, we came over and we spent so long, it got to 2 or 3 a.m. looking for this Yeti that I swear I hallucinated it. I was like, I saw it, I think. And he was like, oh my God, I didn't see it. And I was like, I think I did. I don't know anymore. But yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. But it's kind of sad now that everybody knows everything about a game before it's even released anymore. There's no surprise, and I try, if it's a new game, I try really hard to not spoil things for myself, but it's inevitable these days. It's you go to buy the game and the trailer has spoilers. It's why? But yeah, going back to your point about the whole Aerith situation, they couldn't do that. That was the defining moment of the game. They couldn't. It was
kind of a big. Because realistically, it doesn't change the outcome. It just was a big moment. I kind of love the idea of them being yeah, this is how we're gonna get them. I kind of love it, but at the same time, I kind of hate it because I'm like, no, don't change it. But also,
honestly,
I would love to have something in the game that I'm surprised by.
I feel like you're underestimating the impact of that scene, because not only was that scene for a lot of people like the first time you see a main character die in a game, especially a playable character, but it actually interacts into the story quite a bit, and especially all of the sequel stuff, especially like Advent Children, it like really feeds into that shit. So like they can't retcon that. That would be you're talking crap.
I suppose not, but I'm like.
You can hope and dream. I mean, there'll probably be a mod for it now. That's how games work these days.
I want to be surprised by something.
Yeah.
Which is,
could be
I could not be further from where I started on the Final Fantasy VII remake. Like, I started out with, give me the exact same game, and now I'm sat here being like, oh, but there's probably things they could do that I would never expect it. Like,
I think we've both kind of got to the point of where we're like, do you know what? We still have the original. Like, and I don't know if it's because we're streamers now and we play games so much, but I'm like, do you know what? Even if the game comes out and it's like a dumpster fire and it's awful, we still have the original, so we can still go back and play it. It doesn't replace it. Like, I'm actually super in the mood to play Resident Evil 2, the original one. I streamed it just before the new one came out, and I really want to play it again. Like, I'm in the mood for it. Like, and it's just crazy how, like, when the games are different enough, you now have two games. You have the original game and then you've got the new one. Whereas if Final Fantasy VII came out and it just had the same graphics, you'd be like, well, what's the point of playing the original now then? Do you know what I mean? There'd be no point. But I reckon I'll still want to play the original again, like, even after the new ones come out.
I think you're definitely right. I mean, part of me, because my whole year on Twitch has been me playing blind playthroughs of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, every single game I've played, I've not known anything going in. And I feel like having this giant video archive of me experiencing things for the first time. So, like, Platinum Trophy Wife, when she was like, oh, can you YouTube your Last of Us experience? Because seeing someone go through it for the first time is, like, so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, part of me kind of laments having that with the Final Fantasy VII remake. I think that's why my main's changed up more. It's not my view of the remake, it's my view of how I experience games.
Yeah.
Because I've done so much of it now. I feel like playing all the Dark Souls games for the first time. Like, the number of people that come in and just like, wait, you've never fought this boss before? Have you seen it done on like YouTube and stuff like that? No. And they're just like, yes. And I'm just like, oh man, like, that's the coolest.
Did I ever tell you about when the only time I really ever properly raided in World of Warcraft was during Wrath of the Lich King, and I got into a massive argument with somebody from a guild because the way that I used to experience World of Warcraft raids, and anybody who like plays World of Warcraft, please just like tune out now because you're gonna hear blasphemy and you're gonna hate me. But I used to go into dungeons blind because I used to want to experience the mechanics and learn them as I went, and people do not like that shit in MMOs. They're like, you need to know the exact mechanics and tactics before you go in, and I was like, I will learn on the job. And you know what, it worked though. I used to like learn in the fight, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, that's what I gotta do. But like, I guess the only people that really get to do that are like the people that are raiding on like the day before the expansion launches. And I'm like, I don't know, I used to really like that about World of Warcraft, just like going in blind to a boss and dying and then being like, oh shit, now I die.
I would never like look up strats. I'd like learn them as I was doing them, but like that was because I was the same as you. I played in Wrath of the Lich King, like was when I was really hardcore raiding with a guild and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, it was expected because it was one of those guilds where like you apply and there was a form and like that kind of stuff, and it was like it was expected that you were potted food, like had all the right buffs, you were putting like your build together correctly, you were using a specific build for min max, like you were expected to know the strats. But I didn't join that guild until after I'd seen everything anyway. Yeah. So like, it kind of I did a bit of both. But yeah, because that was before there was pugs as well. So before there was like the look for group function.
Yeah, you still had to like ask to get invited to a group for pugs back then.
So like you'd ask to go into a group and they'd be like, oh, do you have the achievement for the raid? Because if you haven't completed it before, and it's like, but how am I ever going to complete it for the first time? It's a bit like looking for a job now.
I was literally just going to say, this is what it's like looking for a job in 2019, 2020. That's what it's like. It's like, hey, you want this job, but do you have 5 years experience of this job? No, then you can't have it. But it's a goddamn assistant trainee job. Like,
Just, oh, you want to work for our company? You have to have 3 years experience for our company. It's like, well, where'd you get new hires? It's like, we hire people from internal. And it's like, what if people leave?
They never leave. They're the only people qualified. But no, it's true.
They can't leave because everywhere else will only hire you if you have 3 years experience in their company.
That's also true. Oh, our country's screwed. But yeah, what else is coming out? So The Last of Us. We haven't talked about The Last of Us yet. You were converted, weren't you? You were not a believer of The Last of Us. And I remember I had this conversation with you. I remember I said you are wrong. It is great, and you will love it. And you were like, no. And then you played it, and sorry, who was right?
Yeah, you were. But to be fair, I issued a retraction. Like, I full on was like, made a mistake.
Hey, you might not have liked it. Not everyone likes it, honestly. It's not like universally liked.
I mean, it wasn't the perfect game, but it was a fantastic story. And like, I play games, it's the same as like watching TV programs. I watch programs for character arcs. I literally don't really care what happens in the world. I like seeing character progression.
Yes.
Because like I've played so many RPGs all my life that like watching characters evolve and develop and change. So The Last of Us, like the characters you start with and the characters you end with, grossly different.
Yes.
But you feel like you went on that journey with them.
It's almost like a reverse hero journey, isn't it? Almost like it is the hero journey still, but it's almost like they've flipped it on its head a little bit. I don't know. If you haven't played The Last of Us by now, go and play it. God damn it.
I mean, he starts off as like a true, like very, like here's how we're gonna do it. Like literally in that first bit. And then obviously horrendous things happen to him, and then it's just like, I don't really give a shit. And then he like becomes a hero again, but he's not really it.
He's like the anti-heroist of heroes. Like he's a morally grey area hero. Like
he just does what he thinks is right, which is like.
Do you know? Sorry, just complete different tangent. But this and The Walking Dead both share this really interesting theme. And when the last season of The Walking Dead came out, the director was talking about the main group. No spoilers for The Walking Dead, but like the main group of The Walking Dead, especially Rick, they were saying that if you were to have started with a different group of people and they were to have come across Rick's group of people, they would see Rick's group as the villains. And it's just a matter of perspective. Like the shit that they do that you allow is because you know their motivations and their backstories, but people encountering them in the world wouldn't. And it's exactly the same thing with Joel from The Last of Us. And I'm honestly assuming this is what it's going to be like with Ellie in The Last of Us 2. Like, we know that deep down Joel is a good guy and he's gone through some horrific shit. So when he does horrific shit, you're like, oh, he's just doing it because he needs to. But you're also like, at the same time, like, Joel, it could be argued is like a villain. He's not a good guy anymore.
Joel, please stop lying to people and murdering randoms.
This is why it's such a good story, though, because it's like, you know what I mean? God damn, I love that game.
I mean, the second one's definitely going to be an interesting thing. Yeah. I mean, because my main problem with the first one was just that, like mechanically, the
gameplay. Yeah.
So the second one, I loved
the gameplay of the first one though. I loved the combat. I think the combat was the perfect level of. Like, so the aiming and everything was just a little bit like, it wasn't janky, but it was a little bit like slow. And but I liked that because it made it tense. And we said this before, especially on harder difficulties. In The Last of Us, if you miss a headshot 9 times out of 10, you are dead. And I love that shit. I love where it was like, it really rewarded that skill. And you really it made it feel like everything was desperate. Every encounter was a desperate, like, you're just barely surviving. And I love that. I think they nailed it. I do agree, because we talked about this before with the original Last of Us. Like, there's a lot of mechanics in that game that I actually think are a positive, that a lot of people think are negative. Like, you were saying about the stealth elements, where the enemies always seem to, like, you're like a magnet for them. But that's intentional. Like, the enemies are always supposed to be they're always nearly finding you. That's the whole point, you know? But I can see also why some people are like, I don't like this. I want them to have set routes so I know which way I can go.
I mean, I don't mean set routes, but like, even if like they have like randomized routes or something, but not just because the number of times I'd be on a cover and then like at the exact same time, 2 enemies just come around the cover at the same time.
But I've told you, this is why you have bottles and shit. You're supposed to throw the bottle to lure them away and then you knife them in the back.
But I have to keep the bottle. What if I need it later?
You should always have a bottle. Well, no, there's bottles everywhere, man. Use bottles and bricks. They're everywhere.
I do this a lot in games. I'm one of those people that stockpile shit because I might need it later.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end of the game with like a load of stuff, and you're just like, oh. Like Dead Space 1. I completed Dead Space 1 with like a ton of ammo and upgraded higher up weapons and stuff. And I'd done the whole thing with the mining laser.
Yeah.
Which actually, the mining laser, very satisfying weapon to use.
It is. I couldn't get on with Dead Space. I tried and I tried and I tried. I'd play it for an hour and get bored. I was just
if you're into horror, then it's gonna like not really, because
Yeah,
I'm not that
I
into
really
horror.
like
So
horror.
like the fact that it's not very good horror and it's like okay action kind of just kept me going.
Yeah.
But like I think I just kind of soldiered through it because I was already playing it, and that was back on like the 360 when I couldn't just go on Steam and grab like another game for 69p and then be like, cool, new game. Like, I didn't have a library of 500 games just sitting about.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I've got this game. I'm gonna finish it. Like, what else can you do?
That's the only reason why I finished Alien Colonial Marines. That and the fact of that I couldn't really afford it. I bought it when I was at uni and I had no money, and I bought it anyway. And I was like, well, I paid for it. I'm gonna goddamn finish it. And I learned a lot that day. Literally 2 days it took me to finish it, and I learned a lot. But yeah, so Last of Us 2. Really can't wait for that. I think there's been a lot of people that were like, we don't need a Last of Us 2, and just the same way that we don't need a Final Fantasy 7 remake and we don't need a Resident Evil 2 remake. Why not have it? Give it a shot. Either it's going to be fantastic.
We don't need video games. Like
we don't. Yeah, I mean it's going to be fantastic and we're going to love it, or it's going to be crap and we hate it, and then we'll just carry on playing the first one. Like it. Really, do you know what I mean? Like give it a shot. I'd rather have a shot and then miss than not. But I trust Naughty Dog. Like when was the last time they've put a game out? Like they're doing it now for a reason. You know.
What was the last game they put out? Was it Uncharted 4?
Must be. I can't think of anything else.
No, Uncharted Lost Legacy 2017.
Oh, I play Uncharted.
I have not heard of Uncharted Lost Legacy.
I've heard of it. I've just not played it because I don't really play Uncharted, honestly.
The last time they released a good game, 1999, Crash Team Racing.
Oh, God.
Yay, angry comments. Just from Platt. They're all from Platt. She's livid.
I was going to say, when we're talking about The Last of Us, we should say hi to Platt, because I'm sure she's going to be like listening to this conversation like very intently.
I'm going to tell her that we're talking about Last of Us 2, and she'll watch the whole thing then.
Yeah, of course she will. Of course she will. She'll also like the video. She'll comment on the video, and she'll, if she hasn't already, subscribe to the video, because that's what true fans do.
She's got to be subscribed, right?
Kidding. Yeah, of course she is. She better be. Platt, are you subscribed?
I spent New Year's Eve with Platt. It was good fun.
It's weird when you say it like, it sounds like you were there in America, like with her. Like,
no, we played golf with friends on the internet.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed this shit. I'm so jealous.
And celebrated everything, and I said dumb stuff like always because
jealous.
I was real drunk. I drank a bottle of wine, and then I just opened a bottle of whiskey. I was like, I'll be fine.
Why not? Why not? Grumpy Gaming Weekend Podcast now advocating binge drinking. We're not really. We're not advocating binge drinking. Don't do it. Just drink in moderation. Just drink safely, people.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in like a nice racing chair where you can fall asleep in it and it won't throw your back out, like why not? I don't have to go anywhere. It was New Year's Eve.
It's New Year's Eve. I must get drunk. It's the law. Yeah. So what else is coming out? What else are we looking forward to? We've pretty much covered Resident Evil. I mean, Resident Evil 3 wasn't my favorite of the series. I didn't hate it. I liked it. It was basically, I feel like Resident Evil 3 really was Resident Evil 2.5. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be great.
Neo 2's in March. I haven't played Neo 1 yet.
No.
We played at EGX. It was fine.
It was alright.
Was tough.
The boss
was
hard.
in that demo.
Yeah. I've
had people talk to me in chat where I've been like playing a lot of FromSoft games and saying like, oh yeah, you got to play Neo because it was free on PS Plus a few months ago.
Yeah, it was.
So I have it and it's there, and I just haven't got around to it yet.
It's like your genre though, isn't it? You need to play that,
Yes,
and then, like Lords of the Fallen and all those other ones that no one ever played.
The new one that came out, Ashen's supposed to be really good, but no one has a face. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like, is it out yet? It's just come out if it is.
Yeah, it came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've noticed, so in Bloodborne, everything has like tons and tons of eyes, and there's a real theme for like more eyes gives you more insight, which lets you see what's really happening. And in Dark Souls 3, nothing has eyes. And I think that all they did was they took all the assets for eyes out of Dark Souls 3 and they put it in Bloodborne. And it's like, I noticed it very early into the game because like the first person you meet has like a band over their eyes, and there's a cutscene that literally them putting the band on.
Yeah.
And then you meet them in the shrine. And then I started noticing like none of the enemies have eyes. Like even the zombies and the humanoids and stuff. And then I was like, the dogs don't have eyes.
Do you think in like the development studio they just have one guy that's doing eyes, and they were like, Steve, we need more eyes in Dark Souls, and he's like, just one more for Bloodborne.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm still doing Bloodborne's one.
I need more eyes.
In.
There's not got time for Dark Souls.
But yeah, so Neo 2's coming out. I need to play Neo 1 before I play Neo 2, I think. So like, I don't know. I probably won't play it on release, but I will play it.
Fair.
Neither of us is Animal Crossing fans. I have a friend who is so into Animal Crossing. When New Horizons got announced, she lost her mind. Like
some hardcore Animal Crossing fans. It's just not the game for me. You know, nothing against it. I just don't. I say I've never actually played it, but it just doesn't seem like my kind of game.
I had the one that was on the GameCube, and like it was the one where they like time locked everything, so you could only do so much in a day. Which I don't know if they're all like that or like, but like the one on the GameCube, it was like time locked. So like you'd have the first day, and then you go around, you talk to people, you do as much work as you can, make some money. Because basically the way it works is there's a raccoon who's a loan shark, and every time you pay the loan off, he'll turn up at your house being like, "Oh, I upgraded your house, so you owe me more money."
That's a little bit too close to real life for me. I'm not really comfortable with that.
It's like I think you fall asleep on a train and you wake up in this town, and
this is really too close to real life for me. I don't like it. And
you like get off the train and it's full of all these animals, and then the raccoon's like, he's called Tom Nook, and he runs the local shop, and he's like, "Oh, you don't have a house? Oh, I just built these 4 houses. Which one do you want to live in?" So you pick one. And then you live in the house, and he's like, "Yeah, obviously the house isn't free, but you can work in the shop." So you work in the shop for a bit, and then he's like, "Look, we're out of stuff for you to work on in the shop, but you can make money. Like, here's a lot of other ways to make money." And then like you pay off the loan, and he goes, "Oh, I made your house bigger. Oh, I put a basement in." And like every time you pay off your loans and you owe nothing, he's just like, "Here's more debt." And I was like, "Oh no,
it's too real. I have real life debt. I can't deal with in-game debt." Oh.
But yeah, I don't know whether this will be the same as that or... Yeah.
Speaking of game debt, I was, just to like go back to Dead by Daylight for a minute. Dead by Daylight, I've recently added a DC ban feature in. So if you DC now, you're going to get timed out for so long, you can't queue for matches. And people were saying it's just not stopping people DC. People, if they want to DC, they're just still DCing. And so I was listening to a Dead by Daylight podcast with like Monto, King, or Starver, a lot of other people. And they were saying like, maybe we should take blood points away from people. And then one of them was like, well, what if they have no blood points? They were like, you should have like a blood point debt. And then you like, every time you DC accrues. I was like, no, don't give game developers ideas of putting us in like currency debt. Like that would stress me out to the max. I'd be like,
I mean, they said about taking away blood points, but like, you see some streamers, they just sat with like 99 million blood points. They're just like, I have nothing to spend.
Well, you can only get 1 million. It's like a cap, but...
No, whatever. 599,000 or whatever.
I mean, I was at 1 million yesterday, but like, I don't know. I just when you said debt, it just reminded me of that. And I don't play video games to have debt. I play video games to forget about my real life debt. That is why I play them.
I mean, that's one way of doing it.
It is. You can either pay your debts or pretend you don't have them and play video games instead. And then buy more games with that debt.
You can't be in debt.
It's great, isn't it? So what else is coming out? I think we covered like the big ones. What else is coming out?
Ghost of Tsushima's kind of...
Is that the one we watched at E3 that was like where everyone just disappeared?
It's Sekiro. It's a new Sekiro.
Oh, I don't care about it.
It's like... It's an action-adventure game that's like based around samurais and stuff, but I don't know...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's like a soul... Because like they've shown...
We just saw the duel between the two people, didn't we? And it was all on fire.
Apparently the combat's like super, super, super in-depth. Like, there's like just a lot to it, which could be good or could be awful. Because sometimes they like put too many bells and whistles in the combat, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to use this one thing because it works. But yeah, it's coming out in March, I think. No, it's unscheduled. It's an unscheduled one at the moment. It just is releasing in 2020.
Fair.
But like it looks quite good. The art style looks fantastic. But I think it's either going to be... Sekiro was last year's game of the year, so we're going to make it more like Sekiro, or it's going to be like a third-person action adventure game. But it looks alright. I'll probably play it. I like samurais. Why not?
Fair. At least nobody can accuse it of being like the Dark Souls of Japanese games because we already have that.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else we got. Did you ever play the Dark Alliance games? We've talked about Dark Alliance before on the podcast.
Never.
Because it's the game that I played with my mum, and then she refused to ever play video games with me again. We played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. I didn't realise the money was pulled in. And I went off and was like, oh, I can buy a load of equipment. We've got all this money. And I didn't realise it meant that she had nothing. So we then left on our next mission. And she was like super, super underpowered. And I was this like absolute behemoth. And that's the last time she ever played a video game with me.
Oofed.
So yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, they're making a new one, making a new Dark Alliance. It is the third game in the series. It's called Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. It's much the same, I think. It's like a top-down third-person Dungeons and Dragons based.
I mean, it's kind of cool that they're making that in 2020, considering that for the last 5 years, all the developers have been like, if it ain't Fortnite, we don't want it.
I was really surprised because it was like before the podcast, I was looking up, okay, what games are coming out this year, and like Baldur's Gate 2, I think, is getting a remake.
Fair.
But yeah, Baldur's Gate came out in 2013.
I feel like than that.
Oh no, that's the enhanced edition. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say it's older than that.
Baldur's Gate 2, 2000. Yeah, 2000 was the original game.
Yeah.
1998 for Baldur's Gate 1. But yeah, it's the third one of those games. I think it is the same thing. I can't remember the last time we saw a fantasy game that wasn't Dark Souls. Like, when's the last time you could hit a thing with a mace? For Honor? Which is like
that's
a very
PvP game though. Mordhau? That's competitive PvP.
That's PvP.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember the last time
could just Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yes, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
I'm sure there's been more medieval games since then, but like we think obviously thinking of big ones.
I don't even know what I would Google for this. Just medieval game. But even like fantasy ones. Oh, now it's just showing me Medieval, which obviously just had a remake.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I can't remember the last time there was like a fantasy game that wasn't a Souls-like. Like
that's the thing, isn't it? Though this is one of the big problems of the video game industry. Once something works, everybody wants to do that.
Skyrim.
That was a long
Skyrim in 2011.
Yeah,
it's like the last time.
Every single time a genre does well, every game is that. We had zombies, every game was fucking zombies. Every game was trying to be Call of Duty for years and years and years. Then now every game is trying to be a Battle Royale, and now every game is trying to be a Dark Souls game. It's like I don't mind. I honestly, like, to a degree, I don't mind. Like, if you want to make another Dark Souls game and you want to make a good one and you make a good one, go for it. But the problem is a lot of these companies are just doing it because it's hot right now and it's like flavor of the year, and it's just like every game becomes the same and then they get boring and then we all get exhausted of them and we stop buying them and then they do something else. And it's like, I'm so over it. Do you remember when every game was Minecraft? Every game was goddamn like 2D, like voxel freaking zombie games.
There was like because the Minecraft thing kind of mixed in with the stupid survival genre, like The Forest and Ark and 100 other clones of that.
Yep.
And I was just like, because I don't hate those games. That's strong. I just get bored. Like when a game's just like, oh, you're in a field and you need grass and twigs, and now you need to. And I'm just like, I don't want to fucking wander around picking up grass and twigs.
It really depends for me. Like I feel like I used to play Minecraft a lot solo, but I played mod packs. And I've been playing a little bit of Conan Exiles recently, and that game is really fun if you're playing on a server with other people. Like, playing that game solo, no thanks, but playing on a server, it's so cool, because, like, you'll just be wandering around the world, and then you'll see just some, like, hut that a guy made, or, like, a giant base that someone made, or whatever. And it's cool. I like it a lot. And then I'll just be playing, and then out of nowhere, Ruby will just be there, and she's like, hey, I brought you a horse. And I'm like, okay, I will take it.
I mean, the whole... Oh, it's fun if you play with people... I still stand by, and I say this all the time, everything's fun with your friends.
Not everything.
That's what Dungeons and Dragons is. You're sat around imagining things with friends. If that's fun, any video game
Should we test that theory? Should we do a joint stream of Alien Colonial Marines?
I honestly think we'd have fun.
Because we sit through a whole game of me going, this is shit, I hate it.
all you did was complain all the whole time. Then no, because that's just you going like, yeah, don't like it. Like I don't want to spend all day doing that. Yeah, when we played the Wolfenstein game, which wasn't a great game.
Oh, that
it
game
was
that
fine.
we recorded for like 6 hours and then I didn't have time to edit, so we never put the video out. Yeah, that one.
But like, it wasn't a fantastic game, and like we both came out of it being like, it was okay. Like you shoot things, everything was quite bullet spongy, but it was like because there was two of us, like okay. Yeah. And like, realistically, if you'd played that on your own, you would have lasted 25 minutes before you were just like, it's just another shooter.
Do you know what I think, though? I think it really depends if you're learning the game with someone new. I think if you're playing through a game together the first time, it's a lot easier to have a good time. Whereas if I was to go and try and play Wolfenstein with somebody else, and I've already played it and they haven't, I'd probably be like... you know,
yeah, like... but that's because they're like dragging your heels on. Like we were we were like... Oh, I found collectibles, and you're like, I don't give a shit about collectibles. And I was like, they give me XP, and then suddenly you're just like, give me the collectibles.
I was like, no, where is it?
Like we were both doing like the leveling up, and you were like, oh, I'm going down this path because it's giving me like this, and this, and I was like, oh, I've taken this path. Like,
yeah,
like even like the weapon upgrades and stuff. Like we were having a lot of fun with that. Like anything with a friend is fun. Like, I just I don't know.
I agree.
But yeah, I don't know. Where did we come from with this? Genres of games just being everything, and then...
I mean, do you know
survival games.
I feel like this is usually when we do the podcast, I try and have like a nice structure. We always do like what games we've been playing, then we do like gaming news and whatever. Like this, I've just got no structure this week.
Yeah, this has just been another like... I think it's like 3 or 4 times today you've been like, oh, on a complete tangent. I'm just like, here we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I think every podcast episode has to have a really solid structure. We're just chatting shit. You know, it's the first podcast episode in a few weeks. Why not?
We did kind of go into this being like, do you want to just chat about the year coming up and like what's going on and just catch up? Like, it's a good chance for us to just sit about and chat shit, and then it's like, yay, free content.
Pretty much. I mean, obviously, amazing content, best content on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share, video, sacrifice, squirrel to the YouTube algorithm.
Oh, don't tell people sacrifice squirrels.
Why not?
Also, this year, did you ever play Destroy All Humans?
Yes, very briefly. Very, very briefly. The alien game where you like gotta like get the cows and stuff.
Well, yeah, you have to get brain matter out of humans, and like one of the weapons is an anal probe weapon. So when they run away, you shoot it, and the thing goes up the butt, and then they explode or something. It's getting a 2020 remake, and that's like, which is so weird because it's so anti every game now, because it is literally just like, here's a load of toys, and here's a world full of people that get murdered by those toys. Yeah, off you pop. Like, I don't think we've had a game like that in a while. Is that not just
Dark Souls?
Not really, because Dark Souls is like, here's a load of toys, here's loads of people that have bigger toys and want to take them away from you.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I don't think there's ever been like... It depends what they do. If they literally just straight up remake it, I think that game was fun for a bit. And it was another one that was great if you were sat with a friend and you'd be like, oh, see how many people you can kill in like 45 seconds. Like, make your own fun with it. But yeah, I'm not sure how well it would hold my attention.
I think when we used to do that kind of stuff, that was because we had a game and that game had to last you for like a month or whatever, and you didn't have money to buy another one. Now we don't have that pressure. Now we have so many, like, we have the opposite problem. We have so many games on our backlog. I think this is why we're getting kind of snobby. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm getting kind of snobby with games. I'm like, if I'm playing a game, if I'm not loving it, I just turn it off and play something else, because I'm like, I don't have the time. Whereas at one point in my life, I'd have been like, right, no, I'm going to finish this game and I'm going to enjoy it, whether I actually am or I'm not. I don't do that anymore. I haven't got time for that. So now I'm like, no, I'm just going to like turn it off and play something else instead. I'll just go back to Dead by Daylight. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, because we were saying this about, like, when I was saying about Dead Space, you were saying about Clone and Marines. Like, yeah, 100%. Like, when you had the smaller libraries, or like if you wanted a new game, you had to like get 40 quid together, and then you had to like go, like, I used to live in like a little village in the nowhere. There was no game stores, so you have to like get on a train. So you get on a train, you go into town, you go to the game store, like you get chatting to the staff and stuff. It's like, what's good? Because I can't just Google it before I go.
I used to legitimately go into my game store and be like, got any game recommendations for me? And they'd be like, yeah, that's how I found Persona. I literally went in and I was like, I want like a long RPG game.
I
They were
need
like,
to
do you
play
like?
Persona.
They were literally like, do you like Final Fantasy? I was like, yeah, I've done all of them. I've played all the Final Fantasies. Like, have you played Persona? I was like, no, what is it? They were like, it's anime Final Fantasy. I was like, sold. Like, I'll try it, and it was really good.
Oh, February this year, I think it is. Persona 5 Royal comes out.
I don't care about that. I haven't finished Persona 5.
Neither have I. I just feel
I
like
really enjoyed it.
Apparently they don't enforce it anymore, but they're like there is still a thing on the website being like, don't stream this game past a certain point.
Yeah.
And I just, as a streamer, was just like, I basically only play games when I stream, and I was going to play Persona 5. My community loved it.
Yeah.
And they like still to this day, there's people who are just like, are we ever going to finish Persona? And I'm like, when the devs turn around and are like, okay, you can stream it now. And
This
they're like,
is
no
why
people stream it. I was like, it's just not worth.
I don't
the
want to
faff.
start Persona because it's such a huge time sink, and I don't think I have I don't have the time right now to commit to it. And I've got a couple of people in my community that have been like, hey, you said maybe one day you were going to do Persona. I'm just like, I can't right now. Like, it's a huge game.
And it's not just that, but like there's so much to it. I went into it being like, oh, I'm gonna play blind, and then a few like Persona fans from the like Twitch Persona community like would drop in and be like, oh, is this your first time playing? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, have you looked up this and this? I was like, oh no, I'm playing blind. And they're like, you're gonna want to look up, like, if you don't, you're gonna have a way worse game.
Yeah, but like I did the same thing. Like I played Persona 4 and 5 blind. Like, screw it. Like, you can do it blind. There's a lot of people in Twitch that just, they know a lot and they want you to know that they know a lot, so they want you to know exactly what they know. It's kind of, it's not like a brag, but you know what I mean. It's like,
I saw someone backseat someone playing Dark Souls with a steering wheel the other day, and I was just like,
you were talking about this on stream, like,
I was like, how do you, what? Like, she's playing with a steering, and they were just like, oh yeah, what you want to do is like make sure they're always like in a line. And she's like, I'm playing with a steering wheel, like, like there's no camera controls on it for a start. And I was just like, dude, who is sat there just being like, I know she's playing with a steering wheel, I don't care. Like, she needs to know.
Tactics are tactics, no matter what controller you're using.
And it's just like, how do you think she doesn't know this? Who goes, oh, I'm still not sure on how to play this game, but I think I'm going to try it with the steering wheel. Like,
do you know, I feel like, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like Hearthstone created 90% of backseat gamers. Because when I used to play Hearthstone and enjoy it when it first came out, there were a lot of YouTube videos I used to watch, or streams I used to watch, where people would be like, oh, you didn't play optimally, you could have had 10 extra points of damage. And it's like, I still won the match. Like, why are you arse? Like, why do you care?
oh, if your deck had 2 more pyroblasts in it, then you could have.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, god damn it, like, who gives a shit? But there are people that, I don't know what it is, like, it just must be that part of their brain that's like, oh, it's not optimal, it's bad, it's just let it go, man. Just let it, just chill.
So the weirdest thing I've ever had with Hearthstone is I went to a LAN, Epic LAN in Kettering, and I threw a tantrum with my friends because no one would join a tournament with me. So I signed up for all the solo tournaments as like a protest, and ended up just playing like tournament matches back to back for almost the whole weekend. But I entered the Hearthstone tournament, and I was sat next to a semi-pro Hearthstone player, and I was like, I'd pulled up the game because I was like, I need to make some decks and that. And this guy looked at me, looked at my screen, and then clearly just went, he has no idea what he's doing. He was just like, but like, this is the weird thing. Like, he was so friendly about it because he was like, oh yeah, like I have all the cards and stuff, so it's easier for me because my sponsors pay for all the packs to get all the cards.
Yeah.
Because he was like, because I can't really compete otherwise. But he was like, yeah, so like, and he was like literally sat with me for like an hour and a half, just like piecemealing decks and stuff. Friendliest guy I met, but oh boy, Twitch chat on Hearthstone is just like, it's so infuriating.
Yep.
And I was like, how can the pros be like that, but like the chats are like this?
Well, that's the thing though, isn't it? Because the pro players are like, they're there, but the Twitch chat, like, I don't know, it's I don't want to say it's like a disorder, but you get this a lot on Twitch. You get a lot of people that just like, they want to be the best player ever, and they want to prove that the best player ever, but they can't do it because they're not streaming. When you're streaming, you can show how good or bad you are, right? When you're in Twitch chat, like, how do you prove you're the best ever? And I feel like a lot of people just want to be like, oh, I'm actually better than you, so let me just explain why.
I actually have a high score. I speedran this game, and I beat the world record by like 35 minutes, but I didn't record it, so I couldn't put it in. Like,
I actually played it blindfolded while I was asleep, but yeah, it's true. There's a lot of like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't want to start making assumptions about Twitch chat But I feel like there are a lot of people that just want validation, and that's one way that they get validation, is like, look how good I am at this video game. Whereas most people, we go and stream that and we say, look how good or bad we are at this video game. Not everyone can do that, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a discussion today about like trolls and people that like sabotage games, because apparently one of the things you can do in Dark Souls 3, you can invade someone and you can like drop an item, but like the item that you drop is like a glitched or like bugged item, and then if they pick it up, it will just like corrupt their game somehow.
Oh wow, and that's not been patched out.
Well, I don't, because I think people like go in and change the way it is on their files, and then it fucks up your files. Okay. I think. But we were having a conversation about it, and someone was just like, "Oh, but why would someone do that?" And I was just like,
"Welcome to the internet."
I was like, "Yeah, people on the internet, like some people out there who just like they get their rocks off by being."
If you've never
like they
seen
want reactions from people.
The Dark Knight. It is so true. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
But yeah, I think there's just some people out there, like, especially if you're a streamer, like you'll get people like turn up being like when you get like the troll name followers and stuff like that, like they gain nothing from that, but it's just getting the reaction out of people. That's all they want.
Of course it is.
All they want is to wind someone up, and they see that, and then they're like, I've had an impact on the world around me. And it's just like, there's such better ways. I had someone the other day came in, and they were just like, "Oh, I'm literally just going to drop in. I'm going from stream to stream, just saying I hope everyone in the chat and yourself have a fantastic 2020. Really, like I've had a really good year, and I want to make sure that everyone else has a really good 2020." And I was just like mind blown. On the internet, someone just came in and was super wholesome, and like in the end, we got chatting, and they followed. They've been back a few times since. And I was just
Do you know what's crazy? Like I was literally playing The Witcher 3, just like a one-off. Like I want to play The Witcher the other day on stream, and there's just a guy that came in, and his name was Toss a Coin to The Witcher, and he just was like, "Here's 2 bits. Have a wonderful new year." And I was just like, "Thank you so much." It was just the thought. It was like, "Thank you for popping into my stream and being wholesome and being pleasant." Like I don't like, in the nicest way possible. Like I don't really care about the 2 bits. Like, it was just more of a like.
Such a nice experience.
Yeah, it's just a nice gesture.
Have someone just turn up, because I mean, the number of times you'll be in like chat and you have someone turn up and they're just like, "Yeah, you're ugly," or "You've got a neck beard," or "You're shit at this game," or "I'm better than you."
I have for anyone who doesn't watch my Twitch stuff, I have like a Zoom scene that I use quite a lot, especially when I'm being all like, you know, what the hell was that kind of stuff? And I zoom in on my face, and I zoomed in on my face the other day and was like, what the hell? And then some guy in the chat that I've never ever like spoken to before, I never even knew he was in my chat, was just like, "Please don't do that. You're really ugly." And I was like, wow. I was like, so I just did it again. I was like, "What? Don't do this," and just like zoomed in again. I was like, just like I've never noticed before. It was so funny.
I mean, because the weird thing is, he must have been like, what was he, just like really enjoying the gameplay? And then like you zoomed in, he was like, face. Like,
I just don't get it. Like it may have just been like banter, but it was just so funny. It was like, never said anything else after that either. It was just like, "That's it, you're ugly, don't do it again."
I love it when lurkers come out of lurking. Just I had you've seen my sun scene. You must have, because I've been doing it all the time. So I did that, and literally someone just came out and lurked to be like, "Yeah, I'm lurking," but I just wanted to say like, that was weird. And then that's all they said. They never messaged again. And I was just like,
quickly unfollowed.
I was like, you are entirely correct. It is a very strange thing.
That's true.
I was like, but got to stay memorable somehow, ain't you?
I feel like this very nicely rounds us off into a where can people find us. It's a little bit, it's not even that much of a short podcast today. It's like an hour and a half. But yeah, if you have enjoyed our content, we both do live streams. We're both streamers. I do YouTube content. Elliott does ending reactions video games.
I have more. I think that video has more views than all my other videos put together times 10. Yeah. What can you do?
But where can people find you if they have enjoyed this podcast and want to see more of you? Not in that way. It's like an OnlyFans. Do you have an OnlyFans? You can find me at
Patreon. No. We have to stop making that joke, because people keep being like, "So when's the Patreon thing?" And I'm like, no. Slow your roll. You can find me at twitch.tv/blindsideuk, or you can find me at twitter.com/blindside_UK. If you follow me on Twitter, that's where I update everything. So everything from like this with the podcast, when this is coming out, and Twitch streams, and just when I get drunk on buses.
And also at www.onlyfans.com/you-will-go-blind.
Do you reckon that exists?
No, don't Google it. Not while we're on the podcast. Goddamn, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
I'm not Googling anything. I just put in the URL.
Yeah,
this
guys.
page is not available, so username's up for grabs.
Nice. That's what you're doing this evening. So yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed the podcast, we try to do this podcast every week, depending on schedules and stuff. We try to do a weekly podcast. I also do Dead by Daylight videos. I try and do game reviews and game opinion stuff as well on the channel as often as I can. I also stream over on twitch.tv/thegrumpybrit as often as I can. I play variety and also Dead by Daylight. And I also have Instagram, Twitter, pretty much everything. I've just got a TikTok. I haven't properly made the account yet, but I've got TikTok now.
I've posted a video on TikTok.
Nice. I have to follow you or whatever you do on TikTok.
Have you heard that Taylor's TikTok famous? I've
heard she's got lots of following, yeah, and we're not gonna get into a whole debate on TikTok because I haven't got time. But yeah, I'm either the Grumpy Brit or the Grumpy Brit. I'm the Grumpy Brit or the Grumpy Brit TV everywhere. You can find me everywhere under those usernames. Always. If you have enjoyed the video, like it, comment on it, because commenting really helps the YouTube algorithm, by the way. This is like a big thing. If you leave a comment down below my video and say, hey, Grumpy, great video, or hey, Elliott, you're way more attractive than Grumpy, whatever you want to say, right? Like, YouTube will go, hey, that comment on it must be good. And so it means that they will show this video to more people. So please do that, and also like it and share it to your friends, or whatever you need to do to help the channel grow. It's basically like giving me money without paying any money. That's how that works, right? That's how it works. So thank you so much. We will be back next time. See you all then. Bye.
Bye, guys.